We'll begin this morning in Springfield. In the late hours of Thursday evening, lawmakers in the Illinois House managed to break a months-long stalemate. A clean energy deal that keeps 2 nuclear plants open and hits some of the governor's climate goals is halfway to becoming law in Illinois. Now, tomorrow, the Senate will head back to the State House for a second time to do their part. The vote comes on the same day that Exelon has threatened to close its Byron nuclear plant without the bailout money they need. State Representative Ann Williams is the chair of the Energy and Environment Committee and a Democrat representing Chicago's North Side. Representative, good morning. Thanks for being with me. So you've been working on a clean energy bill for years now, and it certainly had some stalls this summer. The governor was adamant about seeing a reduction in carbon emissions from 2 major coal plants. In the end, the bill gives them 15 years to bring it down about 45%. Does that really move the goalposts enough?
Paul, it really does. We have done something that very few states have been able to do, and that is really to address climate change in a big way. We are going to be 100% zero carbon emissions by 2045. And while I'd like to see the change happen tomorrow, of course, you know that's not possible. So we're building up our renewable investment at the same time we're scaling back fossil fuels.
So it's a great thing for the energy, for the environment. I know you're happy about that, but consumers should get ready. They're going to get hit with higher bills as a result. I think the House estimates or the bill estimates, it'll be about $4.50 a person. ARP says no, it's going to be, or per household. ARP says no, it's going to be like $5 a household. So 2 questions. What do we expect the increases to be, and why do consumers get hit with it?
Well, ratepayers historically have supported investment in power generation. In the 70s, when nuclear was coming online, we paid a hefty price as consumers to get that going. That being said, one of the goals in the legislation was to ensure we minimize the impact on consumer rates. So some of the things in the bill will actually result in, over a very short period of time, lowering rates. For example, we are investing in transmission lines that will cut the cost of producing power. We are really making a big, strong investment into energy efficiency. And of course, as you know, they say that energy efficiency is important because the cheapest energy is the energy you don't use. So the bill has a lot of things built into it that will mitigate the costs for consumers in the not even so long term.
So you stood with the environmentalists throughout this process. I know that, and you're happy. The labor unions are happy. Some manufacturers aren't. And one of your colleagues, Republican David Meyer, said it's an energy bill, not a plan for the future. It just has consequences. Why should people who aren't happy not be happy? Or why should they be happy?
Well, Paul, there is something for everyone in this bill. We are first and foremost addressing the biggest challenge of our time as not just a city and state, but as a globe, and that is the ever escalating, deepening climate crisis. There is just no way we can move forward without addressing the devastating impacts of climate change. The economic impacts, the impacts on health and life, those have to be addressed. So we have to start by recognizing that. But we are also building out an incredible array of renewable projects. The bill is about investment. We are looking at something like $80 million per year in workforce and contractor development programs. Everyone in Illinois should benefit. All communities will be served by this bill.
So this ends formula rates, essentially how ComEd does its thing. But the thing is, there's some criticism. Consumer advocacy groups say, actually, Exelon will get even more profits. ComEd's profits are going to increase to over $1 billion annually in 2024 from $800 million next year. That's the comment of the Illinois Public Interest Research Group. So what do you say to folks who just say they're still going to make tons of money here?
Well, the bill was carefully crafted to ensure utility accountability was a part of the package. As you can imagine, in prior years, utility and energy bills were crafted in the back rooms and conference rooms of the actual utilities. We didn't do that this time. This was really a legislative-driven piece of legislation. We worked on putting consumers, climate, and communities first. So there are a number of safeguards in the bill to ensure that the utilities profits don't come before people. We have ICC providing additional oversight. The rate making actually has an annual true-up process where we ensure that investments that utilities are making are actually paying off for Illinois consumers, and that they're making the kind of investments that we want to see in clean energy, in renewables.
Just a minute left. A couple of things I want to get to with you. $700 million being paid in subsidies to Byron, Dresden, Braidwood nuclear plants to keep them up and running. I know unions are happy, but eventually they will lose their jobs, right?
Well, I see nuclear as part of a bridge to a renewable energy future. We certainly don't want to continue to rely on dirty fossil fuels, whether it's coal or gas plants, to get us to where we need to be. But as I mentioned, we're investing in the building out of renewables, wind and solar. But until we get to a point where technology allows us to rely on those 100%, we need a bridge to get there, and nuclear serves that purpose.
Quick ethics question. There is a provision now that requires state representatives to report whether they have anybody working power, in the industry. Could it be anybody who works for these companies, or is it just top executives? And what teeth are there besides the disclosure?
I think it applies to any employee, and I think it's important that we increase our scrutiny and oversight of the utilities. Clearly, based on what we've seen in the ComEd scandal in the last few years, it's been evident that we did not have our eye as closely as we needed to on these utilities. So the more accountability, from my perspective, the better. The more measures for ethics that we can include in this bill, the better for our communities and for us as a state. So I'm all for the oversight, opening up the books of these companies and ensuring they are serving the people and they're not just about their own profits.
Last question. People remember that ComEd got hit with a $200 million fine for its shenanigans. What do you say to people who feel like, in the end, we're paying for it?
Well, the bill does provide that restitution payment does not come out of ratepayer funds. We were not easy on ComEd and Exelon when it came to this legislative process. We held them accountable. We will hold them accountable moving forward. Everybody understands that things aren't the way they were 5 years ago when it comes to how the utilities operate in Springfield. And I expect that to continue.
All right, thanks, Representative. Hey, coming up next on WGN-TV Political Report, marking 20 years since the September 11th terror attacks.
The second plane hits. I said, well, this is not an accident. This is an attack.
Two of Illinois' longest-serving lawmakers reflect on a dark day in American history and its impact on our present-day politics. We'll be right back.